Where's the, all right. Hi everyone, we are Team 16 and part of the Evolving Employee Experience Project Group. I am Zeda and I will be giving you a brief overview of our research project. As the hybrid model becomes the new standard, professionals of tomorrow demand a transformed variety of working needs and expectations, which organizations must fulfill to maximize the benefits of attracting fresh talents. This research seeks to identify the interests of the incoming professionals, being the university student graduates, and aim to strengthen existing working methods and practices to satisfy these changing work expectations. Starting with a comprehensive survey of students from different universities, key aspects were discovered on what the young employees expect in the workplace today, that are also their crucial consideration in job selection. The initial survey findings identified three essential factors of today's career choice preferences: job resources, social engagement, and work flexibility. These outcomes were then carried into a series of interviews to establish a more in-depth knowledge of the findings and a better background of the identified factors. Hence, the results were used to develop a customer empathy map to better present the targeted young professionals and define the pains and gains in their job selection process, as well as how they perceive today's hybrid work environment. This tool has enabled us to confirm that by now, the younger workforce is already well accustomed to remote work arrangements and they favor to function online or flexibly. To optimize this work structure, our project proposes advances in technical and peer support that also encourages social engagement to foster informal learning that would make today's hybrid work setup ideal. With all the collected data into account, the team conducted several focus group discussions and utilized this camper approach in generating ideas responding to the research problem. Further on, to measure each proposal's value and innovativeness in developing our perspective theories and suggestions, an evaluation matrix was used to weigh each criterion against its feasibility and acceptance by the target demographic. As a result, we have established the significance of onboarding processes and retaining employee engagement while also integrating a technological advancements to correspond with the hybrid workplace norms. Several business induction ideas were generated with focus on heightening social engagement remotely and simultaneously accommodating peer and technical support. The most notable initiative conceptualized were enriched onboarding processes, monthly interactive challenges, collaborative training programs, virtual teamwork activities, and a dedicated social discussion session. With the tools used to assess the value of each proposed idea, the dedicated social messaging time came ahead. To briefly illustrate this design, a 30-minute per week allocation is introduced across all employees, new hire and existing staff, and will be publicized on the profile of the current communication channels, such as MS Teams, Skype, and others. This initiative helps to stimulate social interactions, whether work-related or not, without pressure or judgment, by providing a channel where people can connect openly for anything under the sun. Thus, we name it AUS Time. Another idea that emerged next and is based on the same principle is the development of a notice board which enables an online wall where employees can freely express their questions, sentiments, and remarks, also promoting socialization and support. This research will be concluded by conducting further testing through prototyping. The overall outcome will be reassessed with the specified limitations to provide additional recommendations at the end of this research project. For one, the time constraints impacted the final stages and limited the study to acquire a valid feedback and efficiency measure. As such, one of the key recommendations is establishing an appropriate time frame for conducting this research for a more considerable response and validation yields. To discuss more on the research process, passing you on to Brandon.
Thank you, Zida. That was very lovely. So, based on our secondary research findings and the early group discussions, we identified three major areas to focus on. There are social connections, job resources, and content delivery methods. We created an initial survey with 12 multiple choice questions and 3 open-ended questions that were constructed based on the 3 aspects. The platform we use for survey design is called the Qualtrics, and the survey was sent out for 7 days from July the 1st to July the 7th through social media. Our target group is university students. And we collected demographic information such as age, gender, whether they specialize in tech-related major, and their years of work experience. Now, the way we phrased our multiple choice questions is statements that can be answered with a 5-point Likert scale. So here's an example question on the social connection aspect. From strongly disagree to strongly agree, we assign 1 to 5 points to each of the answers. So when we were analyzing the data, we simply calculate the average score for each question type. And here are the results. So we have the total score graph here. This graph shows that social connection is the most valued aspect for our participants, which is closely followed by job resources. If we divide the total scores based on area study, job resources and social connection still rank the highest, but job resources slightly higher than social connection. Interestingly, here we can see that tech scores, tech majors have higher preference towards online delivery than non-tech majors. Next, we have total scores divided by work experience type. If we compare the lines vertically, we can see that the rankings of the 3 aspects roughly replicate the overall total score chart. And if we compare them horizontally, we can see that a slight growing need for all 3 aspects with the increase of work experience. So to further investigate the 3 aspects, we later conducted 5 interviews. The interviewees' field of study includes both tech and non-tech, and their work experience also varies. So in the interview, we asked the participants to rank the importance of job resources, social connection, and work flexibility. Most of the patients ranked the job resources and the social connections as the most important factors in work. Almost all the participants mentioned that peer support is crucial for their work. Our interviewees seem to agree that working in office is important for building social connections, especially when most of their work can be done on computers. One of the interviewees also mentioned that he likes the hybrid work mode that his company currently offers because it gives him the flexibility in work, but also forces him to develop the social skills in office. Overall, the results of the interview are in accordance with our survey results. On the other hand, it also gives a broader view of the topic. Now I'm gonna pass you on to my lovely colleague Homer to talk about development process.
Thanks, Brandon. So now we arrive in the development process, which includes the develop and deliver stages in the double diamond process. So in this section, Eric and I will explain how we use relevant models to generate initial solutions and determine the most effective one by evaluation. In the end, we use prototyping to test the feasibility of our strategies. This is the overview of the journey of how we develop initial ideas and come to the final solution. When we finish the research process with both primary and secondary research, we determine 3 categories of issue to develop our solutions. By analyzing data and brainstorming, initial solutions are formed and focus on 3 categories separately. However, as more details were discovered from interviews, our team decided to refine our solutions by combining our focus on both social connection and job resources. Once Once the fundamentals are determined, we use frameworks such as gameplay model and customer value proposition to refine our solutions. Finally, evaluation matrix is used to measure the effectiveness of each solution with certain criteria. This slide shows how we use gameplay model. We mainly use combine, adapt, put to another use, and modify concepts to formulate solutions. For example, we develop the idea of anything under the sun by combining existing online communication tools such as Microsoft Teams with mentoring, well-being support, and casual gathering. Also, the combination of current training system with collaborative online documents creates collaborative training platform allowing employees to work on training projects together. We also think about adapting game-based virtual social platforms to simulate office working. Putting challenges and checklists in video games into monthly fun challenges for employees is designed to improve social connections. Finally, current onboarding journey can be modified to improve employee experience by increasing the amount of communication activities. Another tool we use is value proposition map. This is the map for our main solution, anything under the sun. Its core function is the free chatting session where booking is not required and any topic can be accepted. It creates opportunity for employees to socialize and promote informal learning. This would be beneficial in improving mental health for employees. Users in Macquarie Group simply need to filter those who are in AUS status and start their chats. This idea addresses the pains of employees in hybrid working, which are hesitation to ask for help and limited casual interaction between employees. Now I will hand over to Eric to discuss our evaluation and prototyping process.
Thank you, Hama. Having formed some useful alternative ideas for the final solution, we are using an evaluation matrix to identify the most valuable one for our project. So as you can see, 5 criteria are applied to the decision process, which are social connections, job resources, flexibility, and feasibility acceptance, and finally the cost. While the first 3 criteria are our primary expectations and needs of the employees, the last 2 are designed to determine how likely this solution will fit our target. So all criteria are ranked from 0 to 10, and the solution with the highest total score will be our final solution. So as you can see, according to the table, the solution of AUS, which is anything under the sun, and the onboarding win the highest 2 total score. AUS has 9 points in social connection and flexibility because this is the most convenient and fastest way to get familiar with your future colleagues and future superiors. And meanwhile, since the application can provide an interactive platform for sharing anything you want, your new ideas, your new interests, you can all talk about that online through the platform. So in that case, the flexibility is promoted as well. However, the job resources for this solution only has 6 points because the AUS process can only provide some basic ideas and the basic content sharing within a limited time period from 9 a.m. to 9:30 every Monday. Also, we give A scores to both feasibility acceptance and the cost because there are not many technical issues to be solved, but there are some slightly changes to the existing software, existing systems. And onboarding also wins a high score of 38, but frankly, many other companies are using a similar way for their new employees. So we believe it is not an innovative idea, and it will not bring the company advantages to the company. So as a result, AUS is chosen as our final solution. And additionally, when the AUS solution has been confirmed, we use a prototyping method to test our solution. And we are trying to get some feedback from the test. And the participants for this test are chosen from the IT major mainly, and the IT major in the University of Sydney. And our test environment is based on a Zoom meeting. And this platform may change in the company when our method is applied. And the tests are implemented in a relaxing chatting scenario and also a work-related discussion. So according to the feedback from our participants, both cases are helpful for them, and it helped them to facilitate and promote their team efficiency and collaborative working. And now I'm passing to Jessica.
Thank you, Eric. So I'm Jessica, and I will be doing a detailed presentation of our team's solutions. So as my fellow team members have mentioned and hinted to, the main focus of our team solution is, of course, social connection. So specifically, it is about giving new and existing employees the time, the confidence to get to know one another and to normalize peer-on-peer support. Hence, AUS, anything under the sun. This fitting name is given to a 30-minute weekly conversation time employees can set on their company or social platform profiles or anything Macquarie utilizes. This time can be used to build a social rapport with fellow colleagues, and topics can include, as you can guess, anything under the sun. So fellow employees can meet face-to-face or schedule a call during this time to chat or ask questions. It's to break the ice on the conversation, and weekly topics can be decided by the Macquarie Group. So topics can range from like a favorite shoe brand that we did in our prototype, or it can be something the company is interested in knowing. For example, new job resources employees want, or even what chairs to buy in the new coffee area. So a notice board for each department, team, or once again, what suits in Macquarie, can be implemented for employees to put in their ideas and their questions together. And this can facilitate more open discussion amongst a greater number of employees. Macquarie can use this to conduct, say, sentiment analysis or just grab some new ideas about whatever those chairs they wanted. So this is all done to increase chatter amongst employees and really get in that culture of peer support. So why not implement this from the get-go, the onboarding process? Have a new hire spend a day or two contacting different people in their AUS times from different departments or even from overseas. And Macquarie should set these topics and questions once again around something useful. So say how to deal with a difficult stakeholder. It is often experience and informal discussions that let colleagues learn from one another. And by implementing the AUS solution in the onboarding process, we aim to normalize a culture in Macquarie centered around people, learning, collaboration, and really imprint that into the minds of tomorrow's employees. So according to an interview respondent who has worked in a remote setting with international clients like long before the pandemic, to foster a connection with colleagues you rarely meet in person, it is about finding non-work related mutual interests. And people need time to get to those kind of conversations. It might be unrealistic to expect open conversations and deeper connections like this to exist immediately from the get-go or when a new employee immediately enters the workforce. And especially if they are entering right now directly into a hybrid workforce, it becomes even harder. And so right now it's really about prioritizing that social connection and emphasizing how that a good social connection means that they are comfortable speaking with others and asking for more help. And that was something someone who had a low level of experience stated they felt more comfortable asking questions when they know someone better. So having AUS from the get-go is evidently absolutely necessary. Furthermore, research has consistently suggested that retention and productivity is affected from an employee's first step into a company. So the Brandon Hall Group estimates that productivity can increase well over 70% and retention can increase over 80% when a solid onboarding process is implemented. Therefore, it is obvious that a good method partnered with today's scheduling and communication technology means employees can still form that deeper connection and help one another, even if they're not like face-to-face. So with our solution being an addition to Macquarie's current processes, including their onboarding process, we believe our solution can improve social connection, social conversations, as well as informal learning by at least 10%. And in turn, play a bigger part in the company's retention and productivity levels. Thank you. I'll now hand over to Roger to explain our performance measures, limitations before a quick summary.
Thank you, Jessica. Hi, I'm Wenchang Roger. Let me introduce some limitations and measurements for success in our solutions. The first is limitations. Our solutions include AUC and notice board. First of all, AUC requires that each employee must spend at least 30 minutes every week to communicate with other employees. It's not very friendly to everyone. Some people are not good at or even afraid of communicating with others. More seriously, some people suffer from social anxiety disorder. Forcing them to communicate with other people can increase their burden and even cause mental damage. In addition, there are employees within Macquarie who have been working there for many years. They are very familiar with their job, so may not need to have some interaction with other people. Therefore, some people may regard this matter as a burden and generate negative feelings. For the notice board, although it's allowed to post content that's not related to work, some people may have too many almost meaningless posts for some reasons, such as excessive work pressure, which will affect the efficiency of others reading meaningful information. In addition, some people may post conflicts between themselves and other employees on the notice board, which may intensify conflicts within the team. As for metrics of success, we have new hire satisfaction, turnover, and retention. We can regularly conduct surveys to investigate how satisfied new employees are with their job, the ratio of employees who leave and join the company over a period of time, and the retention rate of new employees in a year. Next is the summary. Our group collected data through a survey, an interview, and some secondary research. According to the data, we know that new employees mainly focus on how to effectively acquire knowledge and help from other employees in a hybrid workplace. Then we proposed AUC and notice board to help new employees solve these problems. Those solutions can help them integrate into the new workplace more quickly and acquire job-related knowledge, thereby enhancing their morale and loyalty within the company, improving the company's productivity and reputation. But both solutions still have some drawbacks, like some employees might be bombarded with non-working related information. That's all for our group presentation. Thank you, everyone.